when you think the poor Zimbabweans have suffered enough after the nefarious Americans and their commodity traders and all those that are involved in prospering from the pariah Zimbabwe and enslaving Zimbabweans, not only them and ZANU-PF are hated, but also when the Zimbabweans put their hopes in an opposition, Nelson Chamisa Chete, he also goes and has a deal with the ZANU-PF regime so that he would be a pretend opposition. So now you see the dragon that the Zimbabweans are in is a very massive dragon. It's like a biblical dragon with 7 heads, such that it's difficult to get out of that. It's difficult for the Zimbabweans to really find freedom, except by God. Because Chamisa is not interested in bringing freedom. He's interested in being a pretend opposition. You see, there is money in being an opposition. There is money in being an NGO that is anti-government and all that. We're getting money from sponsorships, US dollars, and you know that there will be no change in the country. So that is what these guys what these guys are writing on. So poverty of Zimbabweans and the enslavement of Zimbabweans have been commoditized, and this is a really modern day enslavement, which is really difficult. That has been very difficult to understand, because in the past your chiefs would just round you up and put you in a boat and sail you off to America. These days they don't do that anymore. They just make the state a pariah state, and you yourselves are going to get into boats and go to America willingly. So that's how the slavery of these days works. Or if you stay within your continent, the rich within your continent, they will use you and abuse you and use you for cheap. For example, what are you looking at? You've never seen a person speaking on the phone before. Okay. So here in this country, what we have now, we have in South Africa, we've got white people, the white monopoly capital that is using black slaves from across Africa, because they are relying on weak African governments not to perform. So you see another slave not to perform. So if the poor African governments do not perform, what happens to their populations? They run to centers of capital like Gauteng, like South Africa, where they are willing to work for cents, for peanuts, because they have got no bargaining powers, no bargaining rights, because they are weak. They cannot go to their own countries, because their own countries, their own leaders are actually mistreating them. You understand? That is how the modern day enslavement is actually going through. You can drink with fellow slave. You can drink fellow slave, because that's all that we have in our slavery. We only have each other as slaves. Hello, fellow slave. My fellow slave. So you do understand the diabolism behind this thing. Let me check my slavery job. Okay, right.